My name is Edwin Zapata, author of the Amazon best-selling book, Your Next Step, New Tools for Financial Abundance Now.
I'm Geraldine Carrier, the author of the upcoming book, Wild Woman, Master the Art of Pride, Presence, and Productivity.
A book can be more than just stories. It can engage your audience, create opportunities, generate leads, but only if you have the book work for you.
BCBtv presents Message to Millions, where we spotlight authors and get their message to millions.
Hey everybody, welcome to Message to Millions, Author Spotlight, where we spotlight authors and get their message to millions. My name is Edwin Zapata, author of the Amazon best-selling book, Your Next Step, New Tools for Financial Abundance Now. And I'm here with my co-host,
Geraldine Carrier. I am the author of the upcoming book, Wild Woman, Master the Art of Pride, Presence, and Productivity.
And today we have an amazing speaker and an author. She's done a lot of amazing things around the world. She's helped a lot of people overcome their battle with dementia. She's not just a coach in the field, but she's also become a leader in caring for those with dementia and living with dementia. She's helped people use her techniques to help create a more balanced life for themselves. And our guest is not only an amazing person in the field of dementia, but she's also a doctor from the Netherlands. She's a dancer. She's the author of her upcoming book, Reinvigorated Caregivers. And if you go to her website, mdnaomi.com, you can get a free downloadable copy. So our guest is none other, the one and only Dr. Naomi.
Yay! Naomi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. Of course, I've been following you for years, watching all of the amazing things that you're doing. And I wanted you to share with our listeners, how has your journey to success been like?
Wow. Thank you for being here, for inviting me first. But what's been my journey? My journey, I thought, okay, this is where I want to go, but it just went all the way. Like I had so many side paths. Things happen along the way. Your life sometimes has other things to go through, but for me, it was really hard to really finish my book, because there was that mini me who said, who are you to finish a book, to get a book out? So it took me about 3 years to really, get to that point where Gerry said, and his team said, Naomi, when is your book coming out? And then I said, okay, just this, there's been 2 years ago, but then it was okay, this Christmas, I'm going to finish my book. And actually before Christmas already, I finished it. And then I thought, okay, I just send it to the team. And I just wait for their editors to get feedback and everything. Because it was already done. I had it ready, but I just needed to come over that mini-me feeling.
So let's go into that a little bit, right? So again, because, writing a book is a big deal. It's a big accomplishment. What were the things that you learned about yourself during that process?
Well, many things actually. But one of the things is that I have so much knowledge that I can put out in the world. First thing is that where to start. Focus. That was a big thing. It's still a big thing to me. It's really hard to focus because my mind is everywhere. I want to do so many different things. But also that you are good enough. That was one thing for me. Many of my colleagues, for a doctor, it's not really normal to write a book. So you're a bit of an outcast, actually. If you write a book, why are you writing a book? So I had to overcome things like that and just trust in myself, have faith in myself. So it's good to have people around you who believe in you. And there was also get rid of some people who are negative and just surround yourself with positive people.
Dr. Naomi, if I may ask, can I call you Naomi? Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay, so if I may ask, because you mentioned, and I want to point this out, because sometimes when people ask, how long did it take to write your book? Why did it take this time? Or they have the idea of wanting to write a book. You mentioned it took you 3 years. Now, for the people that are listening and they want to write a book, And then when they first hear 3 years, they think, wow, it took so long to write a book. You and I both know that even though you say 3 years, it's not that you were writing every single day for 3 years. Could you share with people what is like the mental process that goes in this 3 year span? Like what made it take 3 years? And what's the difference between 3 years and somebody takes, let's say, 6 months to a year? What is the difference there?
Well, to be honest, I had it ready within maybe a few months. It didn't take me that long to really write everything. The hardest part was writing the outline. But once I had the outline, I just wrote it. But actually, the 3 years was for me to get over that feeling of, who am I? Am I really worth like getting my word out? Are people going to listen to me? So that was actually, so I had it ready within not even a few months, quite fast already. But then I just left it in a corner of my house, like, okay. And then, so I didn't, and then what I said, like I said, okay, now I'm going to devote my Christmas to write, to like finish it. And then I just reread it. And then I thought, because there's always things you want to change, little things. That's a perfectionist in me as well. And then I thought, but okay, good enough is good enough. And actually, this is already good. So send it out. But the 3 years was actually, the only problem was that I didn't trust myself. I had it done, the book was done within max a few months, but then it was the mindset of me that took so long. And then I was glad that Gerry's team like pushed me. Go, Naomi, send it out.
I'm glad you said that. That's exactly the point I was trying to get at, especially to those listening for the first time. Maybe they're curious about writing a book, because I know all the authors that I've spoken to and coached with, including myself, the amount of time it took to write the book and finish it is actually the shortest amount of time. And then there's this barrier. Gerry refers to it as like the terror barrier. Like when you first go into something, that is actually what takes the longest. It's overcoming yourself. Now, from going with your experience and helping people live a more balanced life with dementia, I even saw a review that you had on your website from one of the other authors out there, which I'm going to totally throw her off guard. For those that get to see this on video, I actually have that author's book, Cheiko's book, and she actually reviewed Dr. Naomi's book. And she's also an expert in the field of dementia. And I got to meet her here in Toronto. So from the experience that you've gotten and everything that you've been able to do, how has it been coaching others and helping them overcome, living with dementia and all the different obstacles that they've had? How has that been?
Well, it's always easier to coach someone else. It's always better for someone else than for yourself. I've been a medical doctor for 15 years now, and I could sense, like when people enter, I could already sense what their problem was, and I could help them and guide them through their problems. But with myself, I always thought, but other people, their life is much worse, or like they have more problems, and I didn't really reflect to myself. So I needed coaches. Everyone needs coaches, but I needed coaches to like kick my butt, to say, okay, Naomi, you're good enough, go for it. And I just needed to reflect. I learned a lot. Like last 2 years haven't been easy for me, like in a personal way, but actually that taught me how to guide my patients and their carers actually even better, to think about themselves, to prevent burnout, to lower their stress. And it's not only about like nutrition and exercising. There is so much more where you need to work on if you want to feel happy, feel strong, feel energetic. So actually the whole path of writing my book, getting it out, and then all the personal stuff is just it's been good to grow in for myself and to guide other people even more and better.
That's a beautiful point, because I wanted to talk about that specifically with you. We're both, creatives. We like to dance and sing, and, we're women, and that's a really important part of, how we express ourselves. So how is that, going around the world? Of course, you're a doctor, you have many successes, but how was the transition or integrating those elements of yourself into that? And how did you marry those? And how was that received by both, your audience and of course you putting that together? What was that like for you?
Well, I think you're focusing on my dancing as well. I had a dance school for 16 years in salsa. And actually, for me, the combination of being a doctor during the day and then like getting out my energy at night and teaching. And yes, it was just, for me, that was like the perfect combination. I still love to dance. One of the things that it's a long story, but I broke up with my ex-partner who I had the dance school with. And I decided to stop with my dance school since September. With the whole COVID thing, it wasn't really fun. I mean, we had to close all the time. So I thought, okay, now I'm just going to focus more on the dementia and the caring. Now I forgot the combination with the dancing.
Yeah, so how did that make you more effective, right? So of course you always integrated the dancing, the creative side of yourself into your book, right? So how did you marry those with your book and then you being a dancer?
Well, I mean, my audience in the dancing and also as a doctor was big in both areas. And people thought it was interesting, like what I did. But people said, okay, but that girl has so much energy. How come? And what I said, it's not only about like exercising and nutrition, but people started following me and they said, okay, what does she do that she has so much energy? And I mean, of course, not everyone knows someone yet with dementia, but it's just that they said, okay, I have a book that I want to write. Sometimes it was not about really my book and my subject, but it was for them to realize I need to get a book out. I've got so much knowledge about a certain subject, and if Naomi can do it, I can do it. So, and I just push them forward to try to do that as well.
Mm-hmm. So Naomi, so go ahead, Gerry.
I just want to go into like the creative side of things, right? Because I mean, because you're a doctor, right? People think, oh, doctors are a certain way, and lo and behold, she's also a dancer, right? So again, because they're so different, right? How do you think that that's made you more successful?
Yeah. I don't know if, well, for me personally, it was because it got me, I can't do one thing. I mean, some people in a hospital, specialists there, they can like give their life to be a dermatologist for the rest of their lives, for example, or surgeon. But I've never had that. And I needed to do like completely different things to get my brain working and excited. And I needed to get my energy out. So that was like through dancing, I could give myself more energy to do like the tough things during the day. And during the day, I was actually a bit more happy, like a lot more happy, because they always called me like the laughing doctor and the happy doctor. But I thought, okay, it's already so serious when you come to see a doctor. So why should I say like, okay, next patient? No, yeah. And so that was like my, I think, integration. I hope that's what you meant actually. And if you look at the other side, because I'm a dancer, I could integrate that also into my coaching in like the lifestyle coaching during the day as a doctor, because people knew me as a dancer. And so if I said to them, okay, you're cholesterol is too high, your sugar, or your tension. I said to just go out and do something, dance or walk or get those 10,000 steps a day. And because I could say that because I'm a dancer, I am active, and I mean that was also a way to influence others more, I think.
So Naomi, you clearly know how to show people how to live that balanced life, enjoy themselves, and get that natural dopamine rush in their brains to get the proper chemical balance. So all of those things are 100% important. And when it comes to living a balanced life and maybe getting distracted with all the happy things, what are some telltale signs that people can look for like early signs in loved ones that may be experiencing dementia? Because I didn't become aware of this topic until you and the other author mentioned, Checo, on how serious dementia could be. So what are early signs that people could look for so maybe they can detect it earlier and help their loved ones?
Yeah, because actually in the Netherlands, dementia is already death cause number 1. And the rest of the world, I think it's a second cause. So it will be necessary for people. So it's a good question for you to ask. It's good to know like where to look after. There are so many, like over 60 different types of dementia, and every type of dementia has different signs to start with. But the main cause actually is Alzheimer's disease, over 60 to 70%. And there you mainly see forgetfulness. So if people forget, it's not like, because I sometimes forget where I put my keys or my telephone, but it's more like structural things and forgetting names or forgetting faces, or putting your telephone in the fridge and you think that that's a normal place to put it. So that's a big sign. Other signs, I mean, you have different causes. So when people have heart diseases, they might get vascular dementia. There you see more behavioral problems. And then you see people speaking differently with Lewy body dementia. You can also see like more signs of walking differently. So that like the main things actually are forgetfulness, deorientation, speaking differently. So when you don't know how to find the words, I mean, for me, English is a second language, so sometimes I have to look for some words, but like in your first language, you should say things like normally. And if you need to look for words or you need to describe certain things instead of just naming it, saying animal instead of dog, because you can't find the word for dog. Or you say like the thing that takes photos instead of saying camera. Those signs can be a sign of dementia.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for laying that out for us to, keep an eye out for those that we love, because it's really important that, we are being aware of those things. Just your book, it's just such a gift to, people who are dealing with things like that. So definitely thank you so much for that. I want to say a huge thank you. We're going to wrap this up and bring it home. But I do want to ask you the question of, why we're here. So what would you say is your message to the millions? And of course, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, my message to the millions actually is take care of yourself first. Because if you can't take care of yourself, look at it as if you're on a plane. They always say, like, put on the mask first on yourself before you do it to someone else. If you get burned out or whatever, you can't take care of your loved ones. So make sure you eat healthy, you exercise, but also you sleep well. You do things for self-care. Relaxation, meditation, if you like that. Cold showering is good, sauna, massage. You can do massage for yourself, but make sure that you keep yourself, your mind, and your body healthy. So that's one thing. And if you want to get more tips, you can get my free book, free downloadable version of my book on, Edwin said it already, mdnaomi.com. You can there's just a simple link, you can click on it and you can get a free download of my book. And there's lots of tips in it. So beautiful. I hope that will help you a lot.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, and for everybody that is out there listening, we want to give you a free gift as well. So go over to our website at bit.ly/BCB books. We would love to give you a Millionaire Mindset book from our CEO and founder of Black Card Books, the amazing author himself, Gerry Robert. And we'll see you guys in another episode. Thanks for tuning in. BCBtv. Believe, create, become.